to war, and everyone said he was such a nice guy. He was such a nice kid. He was the type of kid that would give you the shirt off his back, and you know, he was always trying to help out, you know, the neighborhood kids who maybe didn't have something to eat. My grandparents, they had some money, and so my dad was a little well off compared to the other kids in the neighborhood, and he was always trying to help. And my mom says when he came back, and everyone says when he came back, he was not the same person.
Yeah. But that in many ways is typical. It's to be expected.
Yes.
And did you have any sense of when things began to get seriously wrong?
I did. I had to go into hiding. My mom had to take me into hiding for about 4 years.
We should actually, before we get that far into it, we've got a photograph of, I guess this would be your baptism.
Yes.
But again, look, I mean, your mom is just, she's glowing.
Well, in that picture, I can tell that you know, life had started to throw its blows. Yeah. My mom is a very vibrant and vivacious and happy woman to this day, and I could see there was something wrong. And my dad's face is just so stern, and that look in his eyes, you know, it's a scary look to me.
You know, GIs talk a lot about the, well, the number changes sometimes, but it's the 500-yard, the 5,000-yard stare. And that's one of those stares.
Is it?
There. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What you're remembering.
I remember that stare, and that was the beginning of something to come that was not going to be good. So when I look at that picture, I know that that day must not have been what it was supposed to be. But my mom tried. She tried to have a normal life, and she tried to give me a normal life, but it just wasn't going to happen. My dad was incapable of living a normal life.
What kind of ways did this manifest itself? Is it drinking? Is it drugs? Is it? It
started with drinking, but in researching the book and talking to people, he started using drugs in Vietnam. He was dropping pills. Just pills that they were called downers, to try and get him to calm down, and you know, while they were shooting, and so he got hooked in Vietnam, and when he came back, he began drinking, and the drinking led to heroin, and he became a severe heroin addict. Yeah.
We got one more photograph here, and this is another one of those really telling photographs. Oh, how old are you there?
I think I was 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a look in your eye, too. There's a kind of a haunted look?
Fear.
Fear.
Fear. From the time I was 5 years old is when I reunited with my dad again. Like I said, we went into hiding, and because of his violence against my mom and his threats against our family, we went into hiding. And when I was 5, we reunited again because he had court-ordered visitation. And from the age of 5, literally until the day he died, until the day I went to his grave, because they told me he had passed, but I didn't believe it. So I went to the gravesite. Until that day, I lived in fear. I always felt as if something was going to happen, something was going to go wrong.
And about how old were you then, when he died?
When he died, I was 21.
Yeah.
I was 21.
Did you breathe a sigh of relief?
I did. I did. It took me a couple of days to digest it and to process it and to believe it. I couldn't believe that he was no longer on earth and he was no longer going to harm anyone. So it took a couple of days, and I couldn't believe, even looking at his gravesite, I couldn't believe it.
Give us a sense of what the time was like that you spent with your father. Particularly, there was 5, 6 years old, when you're still very young and maybe not so hip to what's going on in the world as you were by the time you were 21. Yeah,
well, when I was 5, I obviously wasn't hip to what was going on, but you learn real quick. I would have weekend visitations with my grandparents because they were supposed to supervise, but he would come